Okay, so we'll call the meeting to order at 7:06. And thanks for coming, everybody. We'll call the order, the roll call. So, let's see, Abby
Present.
Velasco, Vice Chair. Yeah. Richard Niederberg, Board Member.
Yep.
Brandon Marino, Board Member and
Here.
Secretary. Barry Johnson, Stakeholder.
Here.
Mary Mallory, Stakeholder. Not yet. And Chief Joseph De Jesus, excused. So,
Karen Sorrow.
oh, and Karen Sarah, I'm here. Thank you. So we'll go ahead and I think Abby has an update.
I don't have any updates. I haven't heard from the park in regards of what we discussed last month, if they were gonna, the park was gonna come up with additional budget for the spring event and summer event. I haven't heard from the park, and I also haven't heard about what movies perhaps we're gonna be playing for the spring or summer. So no updates.
Okay, so I'm supposed to contact Disney. I have not done so, but that is in my calendar. And then, yeah, that's it really, I think, for updates. And
Also the budget with Lana, I haven't heard from a date. Have you heard a date?
oh, the budget.
Budget meeting? I haven't. No, and I sent a
I
couple of.
asked her to set it, but
Yeah,
What'd you
yeah.
say, Richard?
I asked her just to set it pretty quick, pretty soon. I want to, hope she does.
Okay, I'll reach out to her. I'll make a note.
If not, if
Yeah.
if she can't get the budget meeting going, you could just plead to Randy and have it placed on the board meeting, because February is a really weird month how it's set up. And sustainability is going to have a heck of a time getting any motions to the board meeting because they're only 2 days before the board meeting. The way February is structured, it's not good for Adele. So I guess Randy's still going to have the board meeting on the third Wednesday like he usually does. So I
Okay.
don't know.
Why doesn't Adele, why
I
doesn't
don't-
she have her meeting 1 week earlier
I
and
don't know.
bylaws could be on that Monday as
I-
per sustainability, because they're not going to have any motions.
It's a weird thing where, yeah, last month it was fine, but the way this month is structured, everything's screwed up because February started, I think, today on a Tuesday. If it starts
Right.
on any other day, everything's fine, because if it starts on a Thursday or Friday, that pushes the board meeting down one more week. It's just the way it's set up, the way the calendar is. I mentioned it
And
to
March
Odell.
will be exactly the same because
Yeah.
this month is 28 days. So every day in March is the same day of the week as this month.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So hopefully we can do something about it.
Hmm. Okay,
So
I'll reach
again,
out to,
if budget doesn't have any room this month before the board meeting, talk to Randy, see what he can do.
okay. Okay, number 3, public comments on and possible clarifications on non-agenda items within the committee's jurisdiction. We could talk about, Richard wanted to kind of do a assessment of our first Zoom. I guess we could do it here, right? Yeah.
So I always want to do things better.
You want to do better next time?
No, talk about any time you want. I just want to have more public.
Yes, well, we didn't get any public because we had to change the Zoom address. So that was a disaster. And
But even so, you were dealing with the aftermath of a very popular football game that was just like ending after 7.
that's true. That is true. That was an amazing football game. So yeah, so there was that too, for sure. So we shouldn't schedule the next one on the same day as the Super Bowl.
I heard they want to make it like a national day.
There's what else yesterday or Sunday's a national day?
I heard that whenever it falls, it's gonna be a national day. They want to take the day off. That's what I heard. You haven't heard that? That was crazy.
No separation of sports and state.
That's funny. You know, what's his name? The man was there, Leonardo. So, big environmentalist, big football fan. That's good. So, what else? I think otherwise, I think that this, did the structure work for you,
What are we on? 3?
Richard? No, we're on, yeah, we're on 3, assessing the Zoom that we had on Sunday night.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, the structure. I thought,
just what can we do to make things better and have more people come? That's all, you know.
okay,
Just
Okay.
keep advertising it.
yeah,
But I put it on all 3 platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and
yeah,
just keep hitting it. And people will, it's like advertising, rule of 3 is people see something 3 times, they finally do it.
oh, okay.
So hopefully we just keep plugging away and more people will show up.
Can we make an event on FaceTime?
On what?
I'm sorry. Can we make an event on our Facebook?
That
That would help because it's
I
persistent.
don't know. I think you can, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look into it.
Probably can.
We have before on the seminars that we used to hold at the library that Mary would put together.
Okay.
Put it all over the place, including stuff in the magazines and everything else. Of course, the magazines are free because they're by public. Barry Weiss, not the one with the other guy who was a magazine, you know, and we used to
Mhm.
get it that way. But we need to have something so people know about it. I really feel
patch.
think so.
Well, I think one thing we can do really quick is I know Randall likes putting out his little newsletter. And
Mm,
maybe at the first of the month there could be a what's happening with the SCMC this month, and there could be a list of events that will go out to the
that's a
it'll
good
go
idea.
out to the I guess I think we have MailChimp, I think. It'll go out to the email list.
That's
There's
great.
quite a few number of people, and they could schedule at the very first of the month what they want to
That's
do.
great.
And they could double back to like Facebook and our webpage and everything like that. So I think that's something we can bring to Randy's attention and have him do it the first of the month, just to schedule everything out. The problem is, I hear from Barry, but sometimes I don't hear from other chairs, committee chairs, as to whether or not they're going to have a meeting that month. I would like to know it 2 or 3 months in advance, but it's not doable because sometimes there's nothing to talk about, or the schedules are conflicting, or with the chair or whatever. So I like to,
Interesting.
yeah, get that
Yeah,
out.
Richard has had this on Tuesday nights it's established.
Yeah.
The first Tuesday.
Yeah.
It works. Yeah, it's very predictable, you know. So, okay.
I would just like to have it, whether it be at the library physically or the library by Zoom. I would like to have more of these little seminars. I think that Mary did a good job, but so is the other ones with and the railroad one and the other ones in the valley. I think it's part of our thing. We should do these things. Particularly the library doesn't charge us, and while what's her name was in charge, she basically used to host it. It was very good. We don't have to have her host it, but it'd be good to have one, because then she uses the library mailing list, which is, I think, bigger than ours. It's an idea.
Library mailing list. Okay. It's a great idea.
The library sends out every month what they're going to be doing.
Okay.
Are we allowed to
Well-
use the library mailing list? It's a city entity, isn't it?
But no,
Mhm.
because they are partners with us, technically,
Oh, if it's a joint thing, yes.
you know, well, yeah.
It's just
We
Studio
put it
City.
together and they host it and put
Oh,
our
yeah.
name all over it, you know.
That would be good.
And I think, you know, they made Emily Emerson a boss now, so now somebody else we can deal with it. What I'm saying is, we can still put it together. I think it's good for the community, and it's good for us. It's all about Studio City.
Excellent.
Anyway,
Okay. So let's move on to number 4. discussion with respect to scheduling and inviting panelists for February webinar for Black History, Station 38, possible motion. So maybe, first of all, we pick a date and at the end of the month.
What's the what station is it, Richard? Is it station 30? That's the historic
Station
uh,
30. Oh,
no,
okay.
we have 38, but no, we have 78. But what's the is it station 30? That's the holders what are they called? The Stenolars or the what's the name of them?
I looked it up, I thought.
But I know in
I don't
studio what?
Station 30?
Understand the question, I'm sorry.
No, it says
I didn't hear
station
you say-
38, but did you mean station 78? Studio
Maybe,
City?
maybe,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the first racially integrated firehouse.
Oh, okay.
But there is a group called the Stenolins, I think it's called. I'm mispronouncing it. I'm sorry.
Santonians.
That's
and,
it.
And they're sitting in station 30.
That's station 30. That's it.
across from the
Oh, I got
But they can probably
next up.
that group can probably join and talk about it
That would be
because
great.
there's a whole story. I mean, we talk about station
We could
78.
just do that.
They racially integrated 78, but as the story goes, they didn't know the hills very well because they didn't live here. So when they
Mm,
racially integrated 78 in the 50s, and there was a fire up in the hills south of the boulevard, they didn't know how to get to it. They had
Mhm.
problems navigating the hills, and the media went nuts on it.
oh,
mean, They
weird.
went crazy on it. So there's a whole backstory about this. I'm sure there LAFD historians would love to talk about.
Okay. Do you have a relationship with that, Brandon?
No.
You could reach out to them? No?
No, I just read about it once.
Richard,
Just
do you
in
have
my head.
a relationship with the fire station? Not really?
Richard, you just said you rode a fire truck.
75,
That's better than me.
97, and 102.
What was that?
Very.
The other ones-
Very.
the other stations in Studio City,
What's that?
You-
75, 86, 97, 102.
Well, we want to talk about. Well, you would probably have to get Station 30 representatives of that group
Right?
who hold the mantle.
Yeah. They have their own newsletter, by the way.
Yeah, but
Oh,
getting
okay.
some people to talk about it. I mean, we do have 78, which is historically relevant in terms of African American firemen and racial integration. So we have a reason to bring them on because this
email
area
them.
really does have a place in the history.
Mhm.
So
I'll email them tomorrow
yeah,
and invite them.
sure.
Maybe we just wait then I'll try to set a date with them. And does it matter to you guys, like when it is? Like it would have to be an evening, I think, or maybe I don't know. What do you think about the time to do this?
It depends what day it is.
Yeah,
Well, Station 30 is now, of course, just a museum, but Santonians meet there and they have their own newsletter. So it might be a way to get into it is to call them.
okay. The Santonians?
Santonians. That's the Black Firefighters Committee area. What do you want to
I
call
think
it?
it's
Group.
STENTONIANS or something like that. Stentonians.
Okay.
They have a whole website.
Oh, okay. Okay,
It's-
so, well, if nobody really has a preference on day and time, then we can let, them decide what would work for them.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Any other ideas for that? Like if, I think that I can't think of like any other people I would invite for this right now.
I'm sure the LAFD
Ryan.
has public officials, individuals who deal with the public, maybe speakers or media personnel.
Okay,
Maybe you can bring. Obviously, when a fire chief or deputy fire chief, they're on call all the time, so They probably have a public relations office that maybe there might be a representative who might like to speak on behalf of the fire department.
Okay.
You know, the fire department has a museum in Hollywood. Maybe there's a curator there
It's a good
Okay.
that
idea.
could speak.
27.
Good idea.
Okay. Okay. We could do something a little more cultural, maybe more arts or culture. In addition to that, I know I have contacts, just not thinking. Anyone else? I'll think about it
Okay.
and propose maybe someone from a more cultural. I mean, obviously, fire culture too, right? But yeah. So okay. And then we'll just Brandon suggested that we just test the whole Zoom system the day before and make sure that
You would have to have Randy do it. He would be the host, so you have to ask him to log on and see if it's actually functioning. He still doesn't know because he logged in really early today, about 6:45, and he still doesn't know what happened. It's listed. It was listed on a Zoom, but it's not a Zoom meeting, so there was some kind of weird mix up with the code or whatever it is.
So whatever device he's going to use at that time, then we'll practice with that device. the
Well, he
day
used
before,
his
right?
phone to log on for this meeting, but this is a regularly
This
scheduled
isn't a
meeting.
webinar though.
Yeah, well, that was kind of a weird one-off thing. That's not a regularly scheduled webinar, so maybe that was a problem with the setup of it. But hopefully next time it'll work.
Okay. Wait a minute. Just bear with me. Where did that go? Okay. Number 5. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we have a couple issues with the historic. I wish Mary was here with the historic preservation, and maybe we can basically Barry suggested we make a motion to protect local architecture. And I think that's a great idea. So do you guys need to see a presentation about that? I've got Barry's email.
Yeah, do you still have the council file that I sent you
Yeah.
for that?
I think I do. Yeah. Hold on.
Well, we still have a Schindler building on Laurelwood Circle by Carpenter. And we have the house just north of the Tahunga Bridge over the river that used to belong to Jimmy Stewart. And they kept the pool and they built an apartment in front of it. There's many others. And of course, Mary would know much more about these if she scours these things.
Yeah, and she was talking about can you guys see the
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like
Oh yeah, I saw this. Well, the restaurant on the left, the TX or whatever it's called, starts with a T. That's been going on for a long time with council member O'Farrell. That's been happening for, I think, is well over a year that they've been working on that for some strange reason. Takes, that's what it's called. So Takes, TAIX, Tay.
so the problem is they're trying to change the HCM designation, right, Barry?
Yeah. So yeah, you're refreshing my memory by showing this to me again. So I think there isn't really a council file. We would have to send a motion, ask our two council members for a motion to I'm not gonna what I'm gonna say is probably not how it needs to be worded, but it basically needs to say we need to be able to protect these historic properties without being watered down to protect them in name and with one wall left from the building or something,
And one bar top.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but this was the same situation with Sportsman's Lodge, where the
Yeah.
historical designation was rejected because it had been changed over the years so much that there wasn't much left of the original, or maybe the current structure wasn't old enough to be designated historical because it had been changed so many times over the years. Maybe that's the case with this restaurant here, that had been rebuilt and changed so much that maybe just a few things like, say, the Weddington Golf, the front facade and the clubhouse had been there from the very beginning, but the course itself had been altered so many times over the years that historically there was no significance in it. And I think that was their ruling. I don't know the cases with these two businesses here, but it sounds like they're trying to define what's historical and what's not. Is it the entire property? Is it the business? Or is it the physical things that have been there a long time, like the bar top?
I think this
But
language
in
is
the
good.
restaurant's case, in the restaurant's case, it's not just the building or how many times it's been added onto. It's the cultural aspect of that French restaurant being in that same location, whether the building's changed or not. It's a cultural icon, so to speak, as a restaurant, and it's been there forever, whether or not the building's been added onto or not. So, and they can consider it that way, but they didn't, because O'Farrell didn't, I think he was getting pressured by the developer.
Now, so the language would be that the building is now an integral part of the community. That removing the building would be removing a part of the community, an identity of the community. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
But part of the problem is
protection of the business, the historical business, not just the physical building.
Like, for instance, say, obviously Apple Pan isn't in our area, but if, say, the guy sold Apple Pan and developer wanted to tear it down, well, Apple Pan has been there for ages. I think it's still there.
Right.
Tearing it down would be not just destroying a building, but destroying the community, because it's such a connected part of the community that it deserves to be historically, even if it's been altered many times. I don't think it has. I think it's still the same as it always been. It's a bad example, but it belongs as much to the community as anything else.
And this is the first I've really heard about a French style building in LA. I don't think they're very common, for sure.
We have one in progress right now, and that's Oil Can Harry's on Ventura.
Right.
And that's not, it's a cultural thing as much as it is the building, if not more. I
think one building that if Rite Aid ever left the corner of Laurel Canyon and Ventura, that building's been there forever. It's in many photographs, because usually when Studio City is photographed, it's looking west on Ventura, looking at the intersection of Laurel Canyon and Ventura. It's a very iconic photo. So that building, if they ever sold it and somebody wanted to tear it down, would definitely be part of the community. It's iconic. So,
and where the sign is at the top, it said Thrifty forever.
Yeah.
Or Thrifty Drugstore, and they had a lunch counter in the back, and it was only half the size that it is now. If you look on the front, where there's like a pillar, that's where they extended it.
They have Sally's
Used to
stores
be
in the
another
other half.
business. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's yeah. It's not just culturally and historically significant, but it's significant to the community's identity. That's
Mhm.
something we can write about a community's identity. It doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily belong to the community because it belongs to whoever owns the property, but it's
I think
something that
we
could
can
be.
use a lot of the language from this, don't you? In a motion,
Is
like
this
a couple of the sentences.
is this a council file?
No, it's
No,
Union
no. This is from the
Conservancy.
LA Conservancy.
We basically align ourselves with the LA Conservancy by quoting them.
Are you sure
You
there was
know,
never a council file on this? Because this has been going on for so long. There, if
I
somebody
think,
just looks in
Well,
Mitch
it-
O'Farrell and
yeah, there
council
was a
files,
vote. Yeah, there
but I'd
was.
like to see what.
But there's-
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, there's just individual cases, all over the city, but nobody's ever done brought a motion forward from the city council to stop these. If you're going to do it, don't do a watered down preservation.
Right. Okay, I'll write something on that. Let me see. Oh, it stopped share. So, it seems like so it would be which representatives? Let's say the Studio City Cultural
Well,
Studio
the first,
City.
it's the board of the Studio City Neighborhood Council request council member Nithya Raman and council member Paul Krikorian to make a motion to, and then say what we want them to do.
Okay. Reserve, I would say.
I think it would have to go to some city council committee for discussion. They always do that. So they're not going to vote on it right away. They'll send it to committee for some kind of
Right.
research or whatever. So
When they make the motion, then it goes to the clerk in the city in the council president's office, and they assign it to committees before it ever gets to.
What's usually the language,
full
Barry?
council.
What's usually the language in these council files when it's not an action vote. They're requesting some kind of paper or some kind of not research. What do they use? I'm having a senior moment here.
Somebody has to make a motion. Often you have two people making a motion.
No. They're requesting a statement or they're requesting a department to investigate it and return with a report.
Yeah.
I forgot what the language is called.
Yeah.
But
to preserve the definition of the HCM
Well,
designation.
make a motion to direct the.
That's it. Direct.
And then department name
Oh,
to direct and whatever the department name is, and then two, you could say to strengthen the historical, cultural designation, so it's not so watered down. I mean, I'm paraphrasing,
well,
but that's the
yeah,
point we want to get across.
we can be specific, like to strengthen the ACM designation to be tied to historic buildings and places, not building fragments, salvage, or site of commemoration only. So that's what the article says. So you're being very specific that it should be, I'll put a dash for building fragments to be, remain tied to, I don't know, not remain. It's hard to say because, it already exists that way, probably. It's almost like,
I think to expand their parameters to also include community impact, um,
oh, okay,
um,
to expand, yeah,
expand their parameters to include um,
yeah,
um,
community impact, yeah. that's
community
fair.
impact, community significance, I guess, or maybe community significance, um, and perhaps local identity. I know that's pretty vague. I
Public
don't know about
recognition.
identity. What was that, Richard?
Public recognition is also important. People know it's there.
I think the idea here is what they're trying to do is they're trying to narrow down what is defined as a historic building. They're trying to limit it. They're saying, oh, well, it's a little piecemeal. It has to be this. We're trying to expand it. We're
Yeah,
we're
I like
trying to encompass more buildings, like Sportsman's Lodge. Oh, it's too new. It's been redone so many times. It's not historically
reiterate.
significant. That's not the point. When people come from out of country and they stay, they know Sportsman's Lodge. It's a landmark of the region. Has nothing to do with how new or old the hotel is. It's the entity, Sportsman's Lodge. That's the important thing. It's the name. It's the fact that it's there.
So-
And it's part of Studio City.
It
A
counts-
recognized
We
part
wanna
of the
save-
community. A
We want to
recognized
save
part of the
historic sites, not historic buildings.
Yes. Yes.
But I think site
Well,
is the problem. The site is the problem, I think, because
It
it's
is.
like anything that's on the site counts. So that's how they can, kind of,
Right now they're looking at buildings and they're trying to piecemeal it and say, well,
yeah, I think
Not
that
really.
the building is the important part that people are
no,
getting.
it's not the building that's the important part. Like this French restaurant, it might have been redone so many times that the historical commission said, no, it's too new and it's not really historical. Well, that's not the point. What Barry's trying to say is the fact that it exists in that community, it's been such a part of the community for such a long time, it is now connected to the community. And to destroy it would be destroying a part of the community. So it's got nothing to do with how new the building is. Its very existence is tied to the community. So the idea is to expand what the historical commission deems as relevant to maintain.
I do think if you look at the article, they're basically saying, I mean, I'm confused at this point because it seems like we're trying to save the architecture, not pieces of it. I think that's what the historical monument is getting at, that it's a holistic, it's the architecture that we're trying to preserve.
But in oil pan theory, it's not the architecture, it's what happens in the building or did happen in the building. I think that's the problem here, because I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying is that building is not much to look at.
Right.
Well, my question, Richard, is
I didn't fight to preserve it.
with Oil Can Harry's, the historical commission did vote for it, did they not? I believe they did.
Did
I
they?
believe they're
I think they
preserving it.
did, but I'm wondering if the criteria seems to be kind of muddy.
Yeah. So the question is, if
We
they
wanted to keep
protect
the
Oil Can
community that would go
Harry's,
there.
they're not being consistent.
You're
So
right.
maybe consistency might be something that we can write in, because it doesn't appear they're being consistent with their determinations as to what's historical and what's not.
Let me read what we have so far.
Okay.
The Board of the Studio City Neighborhood Council requests council members Nithya Raman and Paul Krikorian to make a motion to direct the Department of
It's a
what
commission.
department? What is it? The
Isn't it
Department of,
what is it? What's the proper term? Historical commission?
no,
It's something like that, but I think they're
City
under
planning?
the wing of a department. they're not their own department.
Is it Plum?
It could be.
Let me see. Yeah, Plum met
So
to
we could
repair
say,
and rescind. Yeah. Is Plum government?
Yeah, they are.
well, you could say to direct the historical and cultural commission.
Monument.
It's
Oh,
maybe
it's a
better.
commission.
Yeah, don't let Plum get their hands on this. They're all about development.
Okay,
Well,
so we'll take out
they'll
that.
disappear.
Okay,
You didn't hear that from me. I know this is being recorded, but you didn't hear it from me.
let's say a motion to enforce the historical. Okay, hold on. Designation. Oh,
I would say to expand the criteria for designating an historical landmark to include community impact and community identity, or something like that.
that's so subjective. I think you guys are getting to this. I think you guys
No.
want to save the building. You don't care about the building?
No, we do care about the building.
Well,
You're
that
not saying
that in itself saves the building. If the site is being saved because of the significance of what went on there, then you're also going to save the building at the same time.
Yes, like
Because
oil
if
can
the
Harry's.
building's gone, yeah. The building's gone, you got nothing.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. We have to put that it includes, that's what this article is saying.
Yeah,
They're not
Right.
preserving the building. They're preserving fragments of the building.
yeah. What
That's the point.
we're saying here is by expanding it
One of the
to
things also,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Richard. Richard froze. I'll give him a chance to unfreeze. Yeah, I already spoke, so I'll give him a chance to speak. Okay, well, Richard's frozen right now. The idea is expanding it to include how it affects the community.
We can do that too.
Yeah,
I'm
but
just saying,
go ahead,
you
Richard.
also do it with historical preservation districts, like that whole Adams district place, basically. Essentially, they had to exempt any laws against parking on the front lawn because all they had in those houses were built were just horses and carriages and carriage houses. So there were no regular driveways. So they exempted the whole way along Adams, 27th Street, 28th Street. So you no longer have to have the driveways or parking in the back because there is no thing in the back. So sometimes it does based on the structure itself.
To ensure the historical cultural monument designation is tied to historic building.
Conservation zone, HBZ.
Right. Okay, here it is. I think I've got it. Ensure. The Board of the Studio City Neighborhood Council requests council members Nithya Raman and Paul Krikorian to make a motion to ensure, maybe we need a stronger word, the historic cultural monument designation is tied to historic buildings and places, not building fragments, salvage, or site of commemoration only, and to expand the parameters of the designation to include community significance.
I like that.
I like that.
I like that
Okay.
too.
Cool.
Okay,
I like how you just did this. Yeah. There we go.
All right, so,
I'll
I mean,
second that.
I second
Okay.
your motion.
I'll let Barry carry the second on that one.
you think
okay.
ensure is a strong enough word? Yeah?
It
To
can
ensure?
always be amended in the board meeting.
Okay, cool. All right,
So
yay.
Barry seconded
Okay.
that one.
So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Good with it.
Yes.
Unanimous, thank you. Me too. Okay, all right. Well, good. I'm so glad we're doing that. I'm very happy about that. Cool. That's one of the
Oh,
coolest things we've
Randy,
done.
Randy will be surprised that there's a motion coming from the Cultural
Also-
Affairs Committee.
I know.
Barry, I guess in brackets you'd have to say this motion is to be submitted to. I guess you already have it in the motion, so I don't think it matters. It'd be to Nithya Raman and Paul Krikorian, so never mind.
Right, and there's no council file number yet
Yeah.
because there won't be until they make a motion.
Got it.
And Bonan's the one that is trying to change the definition. I don't know, so, and he's leaving.
He's pretty
right?
outspoken. Oh, is he? I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's leaving. Yeah. Mhm. I
Okay.
think. Maybe not. So, okay, 5. We did that. All right, 6 comments from the public. I don't think we have any public, right?
No.
7 comments from committee members on subject matters within the committee's jurisdiction, and that's Abby. Maybe
You're muted.
April
Can you give me access?
to the screen. Yeah. There you go.
I think you said that one of the ways you might push your buyer is to,
I hope Mary's okay.
seller needs to replace the buyer. So does that mean that if seller accepts your offer, that if it plays the 10 grand lower, then that's
Oh, okay.
So I went online so I could get an idea of what was done in terms of marketing for the movies. And I found this. This is so pretty.
That is great.
It's very
Look at
nice.
those complex graphics, Abby. You really do.
Ours doesn't have to be like that, but I just like that. I mean, there's others, and I just like this one the most. But this is for an inspiration. Like, I don't do graphics.
And
I'm like,
you
oh, crap,
could
am I
have
gonna have to
minions.
copy that?
I could Photoshop that and get rid of all that stuff and keep. the
There you go.
template.
Brandon.
I could send that to
Thank
me, and
you.
if it's a high
Yay.
quality resolution, I can just make the changes.
It's in your
You
Facebook
just need
Yeah,
account.
I'll
to put in the
rebuild
new
it. So
logo.
that's perfect.
Yeah. Well, the movies, of course, get rid of the minions in the bottom left and change the logo and the dates and
There you
times.
go.
But
He's got
Well,
it
I
covered.
could
And
probably
don't say take out snack bar, just only have
Oh,
refreshment.
this is what I did. So then I did this. So this is the writing, and basically all I did was copy and paste what you had in your Facebook account. So read it and take a look at it and see if you agree, disagree. What should we change?
Is that a TBD movie? Is that DiCaprio? Who is that?
No, to be determined.
I'm kidding around. I'm kidding. To be determined. I know.
On the last one that was displayed, we got those movies because we asked Universal, what do you want to give us? And
I don't.
it was-
So
that
Anything but Waterworld.
was a loose.
that would be Karen. Karen's the one that is going to be talking to Disney.
Yeah, for that.
So once we find out that we can get rid of the TBD.
Yeah.
So what do you think? All I did was copy and paste from your Facebook page.
I love it. I think it looks great.
And just change dates and change slightly the wording. So it didn't really come from my head this time. I
Yeah,
didn't
that's great.
really.
So people,
I just-
bring
Yeah, so
blankets. Yeah.
Oh, that's what you've done in the past.
Do they bring chairs anyway? Probably. They probably do.
Oh.
Right. Yeah, we're not saying no chairs, are we? Like,
So
are we saying no chairs? Is the park saying no
It's-
chairs?
It is a bring your own chair or blanket day, by the
Chair
way.
or blanket? Okay.
Has anybody talked to I know Barry, you had a conversation with Nithya Raman's people. Is CD4 interested in advertising, like a meet and greet, or just having some kind of exposure to this? I know we discussed
I
it
don't
last
know.
time.
I don't know about meet and greet, but they might sign on as a co-sponsor.
Then maybe they can get some city money out of this, maybe from a general fund
you
to
should
help.
probably contact George Placencia, her Studio City rep.
Okay. Okay.
Can we get the projector and the screen for them?
Oh,
A
we-
good question for him as well, because
Okay.
I don't know if her office has one. Krikorian's office does, but I don't know.
I thought the park had the screen.
No,
They're not
had to be
doing
delivered
anything.
every time and I would run the projector.
Okay. Okay, I'll ask. George, what's his last name?
Placencia,
Placencia.
I can send you his email.
Okay, thank you, Barry.
So
Okay,
at the bottom right here, it says presented by Studio City Neighborhood Council, Walt Disney Studios, maybe if it's
yeah.
and the City of Los Angeles Department. That's it.
Cool. So yeah, maybe we'll pick up the council.
Yeah, and
That'd be good.
so
And the park, right?
are they?
Are we the only? I guess
Who's
they're donating. You got to include the park because they're donating the space.
donating the space?
We're not paying for it, are we?
No, they waived the $100 fee.
There you go. So they're sponsoring it too. Yeah.
I remember when Universal was sponsoring these, basically, they had a little photo booth, basically, with a shark for Jaws. We had other stuff. They actually had physical stuff. It wasn't just the right to use a DVD.
Ah,
Would it be Beaman Park or LA Parks?
Oh.
Was it the
Studio City
department or the
Recreation Center.
Studio
Oh.
City Recreation
Los
Center?
Angeles.
There we
I don't know
go.
what it is. Studio City Recreation Center.
That's the official name.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oops.
Okay, that looks great, Abby. Thank you. Yeah,
All I did was copy and paste. I changed
that's
things.
something.
I
That
figure
is-
I shouldn't recreate the wheel. And Karen, who's doing this? I don't want to assign work to anyone.
Brandon.
Just send it to me and I'll see what I can. I can make a
I'm
clean
giving you
slate out of it.
colors for inspiration.
Oh, don't send me the Walt Disney logo. I'll have a bunch of guys in black suits showing up, knocking on my door, asking me the hard questions.
That's funny.
We'll see who's doing it. Universal seems like the obvious choice since they're so close to Studio City.
Okay. Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so should I delete this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, delete it.
Yeah.
Oh, goodbye, Mickey.
All right. I'll reach
They've
out
been
to
very helpful before.
Universal since we're the ones doing it, right? Like,
So another question is,
Uh-huh.
are we just doing this one flyer for spring? Or are we advertising both movies? I don't think so because we don't know the movies just yet.
you know the dates for sure?
Well, yeah, we already have the dates. We don't have the movies though. But we
I
have
thought
the
you were.
dates.
I thought you were.
I could
pushing
try to
football
get
first.
both movies, right? Why not? Because they're not that far apart. June,
Yeah.
is it April 8th or is it June 8th?
Oh, I think it was. What were we talking about? I think Richard was mentioning. Try to do it all in one swoop because of the budget.
Yeah.
The budget turns over in
we do the
June.
Budget.
I can do this 1 second. So here's the other slide for the dates.
April 13th and
We
June.
have one for
Oh,
June
okay.
13 and another one for June 18.
There you
So if
go.
it makes any sense to you, Brendan,
Yeah, I suppose.
this one
Yeah, you could just be like TBD,
one
you know. TBD, TBA. TBA business.
Yeah, what?
TBA, I don't know. You could just have fun with it. I don't
All right, kids, we're gonna learn about
know. TBA.
business.
TBA.
Are we going to do a banner
Love
for the Laurel
TBA.
Canyon Moore Park
Loving TBA.
Corner of-
intersection?
Banner?
Yeah,
Oh,
right in the corner of Ryan Beeman.
was that in the budget?
What about Laurel and Moore Park where we've always done it?
I sent you guys a copy of what I sent to Lana and Randy, right? Did you guys open my email?
Banners and media budgets. Yes, there it is.
I put it there.
Didn't want to cough on you.
But if we do one banner at Laurel Canyon and Moore Park, we've done them before. And in fact, I will check in the office and see if there's still one there, but it probably has the old logo. But I think we've now start with the movie ones. I think we said, we put the banner up like 7 days in advance or 6.5 days in advance. And the banner says this Saturday night at.
Oh, cool.
Because we could use it over again. And yes, I know we have the first one is Wednesday, but we could get an overlap just to put over the Sunday for the one Wednesday. And that's actually how we do the dates for the Luminaria banners. We always buy a little thing that we basically glue onto the banner with the date for that year.
Oh, okay.
So we could get the little insert that says Wednesday to cover over Sunday for the first one. But if you date it, then you can never use it again.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Yeah.
Have people go to the
That's
website.
good. Reusable. Yeah. Good for the environment.
And is there anything else you'd like me to add to let me show you, to this?
Chicken.
Chicken.
Alrighty.
How much of a trouble would there be for people parking in the residential area? Is there enough parking in the around the park? Should we say that? Please
a lot of
use
That's why we've done it. We of course have our own side driveway, off Beeman, and we drive in and set things up basically. But the public doesn't. We just do.
oh, and maybe please respect the residents and park in and around the park only. Something like that.
Well, people are going to park on
Yeah.
the streets surrounding the park, but I would say something like, to get the point across, when it's over, walk to your car and get in your car and leave quietly. Somehow we need to get that point across.
Okay.
You could probably just say, when the party's over, leave quietly, maybe.
No, respect the community, respect the residents who
Yeah.
live there.
On the last line of this graphic, I wonder if we
good.
really should be saying City of Los Angeles Department. It doesn't say what department.
City of Los Angeles.
Probably that don't need department, right?
Oh.
Department of Recreation and Parks.
Okay. That's okay. There we go. Okay. And then event needs a T
Event, where?
when the event is over.
Wendy, oh,
Even.
thank you.
Sure. Nice.
Or I think you should put, instead of community, put neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Nice.
All right, so
Okay.
I'll send this just to you, Brandon, or to everyone?
And to everyone.
To
Yeah.
everyone? Okay,
We're inclusive here.
what else? That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
Started making notes in two places. Like, because of the motion. It's like, oh, I need a whole piece of paper for that. Okay. Okay, so I think we're wrapping up, right? What's the next number?
Are we on 6 or 7 right now?
We were on
We're on
7.
7.
Yeah.
So adjournment is 8.
Oh, did we do a wrap up?
No, did you have?
There
you
a wrap
have
up on the
chair?
agenda? There's no wrap up? Okay,
You
I've
don't
got
have
my
to.
notes.
You're the chair. You can do whatever you want.
Okay. All right. So any tasks anybody needs to do? I think Barry just needs to email me that contact and then
I did. And
Oh, great. Okay.
when I get a chance this week, I'll go see if we have any leftover movies in the park banners.
Oh, cool. Great. Yeah, and then we'll work on that. And then the motion, do I send that to everybody and Randy, or what do we do with that?
Oh yeah, you want to send it to Randy saying this is the motion we have that needs to be on the agenda for the board meeting.
Okay. Okay. And then.
And everyone will see it once the agenda goes out.
Okay, then I'll have a conversation with Mary. I'll contact the Stentonians and the curator at the Hollywood Museum. And I'll check with Mary to see if the library can come in on the next event. That would be cool, right? Okay. And free
One thing is that Universal used to always give us swag that we would give away. Kids would answer questions and we give them away swag. That's what Lana used to do, and it was pretty good. So she's gonna give us some swag.
Right, and I'll contact Universal instead of Disney. Start there. Okay,
All right.
cool. All right, thanks, everybody. Anything
you.
else? Yeah, we're good. Well, that was a great meeting. Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Right.
Thanks. Bye.